Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are so elated to be here for our monthly podcast, hashtag from a Christian, hashtag from a therapist with Dr.Ntatu. So we want to say good evening to you. It is Sunday, May 7th, 2023. And we are just blessed and really, really happy to be here on this evening. It is May, so it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we are honoring Mental Health Awareness Month all month. And that's why we are wearing green. So we are just, again, thankful to be here on behalf of Purpose Journey Counseling. My name is Dr. Ntatu North, and I'm the owner and therapist of Purpose Journey Counseling, LLC, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. So it is 7 p.m. Again, we are live, and we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And I am in the process of posting the link also on Instagram. So if you would please join me in doing so, please like this broadcast on whatever platform you're watching us. Please follow us on your preferred social media platform, whichever you prefer. And then also, we do ask that you please take a moment just to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already. Please take a moment to do so. All of our videos are on there. So everything that we do, any messages that we're doing during the week, our monthly podcast, we post everything on social media, and Instagram is probably the easiest way to find it. So if you would take a few moments to do that as you're coming on, please let us know you're here in the comments section. Just say hello, good evening. And if you would just take a few moments, you want to grab a piece of paper, something to write with, and take some notes. I always say it's a blessing to be able to hear from people and the wisdom that will be shared on this evening from the women that we have on the panel for this evening. But if you would like to take some notes, that'd be great as well. So I'm still finishing up sharing. So if you want to take a few moments to do that this evening, we do encourage, since we are live, we do encourage interaction and engagement in the comments section. So feel free to ask questions, make statements if you agree with something, or even if you have a different perspective, that's fine as well. The only thing we ask is that you're please respectful in all of your comments. So as you're coming on, go ahead and let us know you're here. Hello, Bridget Blackman Gaines. I wonder where you are right now. But good evening. Silly. Okay. So as we're sharing, I think I've got one more place to share. So as you're coming on this evening, again, we thank you for joining us. This is our 12th episode, our 12th monthly podcast, which means we have been doing this for a month now. So we praise God for this. We praise God for this platform and just having the opportunity to use social media for something positive and promoting mental health awareness, not just in the month of May, but all year long. So before we get started, I do want to share this information that we do share when we're together. Please go. I'm going to give you 2 phone numbers. Please jot this information down. You just never know if you may need it or someone may need it. The first number is a number for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. This number is 24/7. So please take a moment. If you have not already, if you don't have this information, please store it in your phone so that you can have it available if ever needed. And then the second number is for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. That number is 988. This number is 24/7 also, and you can text this number as well. So both of these numbers are great to have available. So just go ahead and put them in your phone so you can have them easily accessible. So we thank you for taking a few moments to do that. So again, we said this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're doing a lot of different things this month, trying to shift things around a bit. But our hashtag from a Christian, hashtag from a therapist with Dr. Ntatu, this is our monthly podcast that we have usually on the first Sunday of the month. And we're just, this month wanting to talk about something a little bit different. So our topic or our title for this evening's show is What's Your Social? Introvert or extrovert. So we're going to be talking about different social types, introvert, extrovert, and there's actually a couple more that actually combined the two. So before we go into that, and we have three lovely women this evening who we're going to have some discussions, I like to give a couple of notes that we like to always say. It's okay to have Jesus and a therapist too. It's okay to have both. So if you're a Christian, you serve the Lord, that's great. You can still lay on a therapist's couch, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. And then just a little background: Purpose Journey Counseling LLC. If this is your first time joining us, we want to welcome you. It's just a private practice. We provide mental health services for children, adolescents, and adults, families, couples, all different types of therapy. And we're located in Reading, Ohio. So we are blessed to be here on this evening. Good evening, Brother David. And I love the graduation picture. Okay, shout out to David Rector for graduating last week. Congratulations again. So we thank you for joining us. And he's been on our show twice. So we thank you for also supporting these lovely women who are going to be on the show. So I'm getting ready to bring them on, ladies. So hopefully your camera ready. Some of y'all, all of y'all stay. I don't know. I'm sorry. I have to put this back up here because I was really, really happy about this flyer. Look at these glamour shots. To me, these were like glamour shots of these three women. Yes, I'm partial to all of them. Yeah. Anyway, so I just wanted to say that before we get started. We love you too. So I'm going to bring them on one by one. And I'm going to give all of these ladies a chance to introduce themselves in their own way, however you would like to do so. So welcome, ladies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Whoever would like to go first, introduce yourself.
I'll go first then. Good evening, everyone. My name is Elaine Stubblefield. I'm an ordained Baptist minister as well as an educator, and I am an ENFJ, which means I'm an extrovert. Go figure. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, but I'm excited to be here this evening with these wonderful women and looking forward to this conversation.
I'll go next. I am Bridget Blackman Gaines. Most may believe that I'm an introvert or extrovert, not an extrovert, but I'm really an omnivert, and I'm pretty sure Dr. Ntatu is going to get us together with these definitions in a minute, so I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Yes, that leaves me. Hi, I'm Kia. I am the hardcore introvert of the bunch. But yeah, we'll dig into some of that, a little bit more of that as we get into the conversation. But hello.
Hello. Thank you, ladies. I'd just like to say you introduced yourself in the order I figured you would, according to personality type. So there we go. There we go. But I just want to say some more comments. Good evening, husband. Definitely want to give a shout out to Brother Lamar.
Good evening, Lamar, my son in love.
And good evening, Erica. Good
Hey,
evening. Oh, well, we gonna talk about that. So yes, that's what the show is going to be about. And as you can see, every lady has described themselves differently. So that's the reason for this mix up. And I'm more of the ambivert of the group. So we'll get ready to get into that in just a second. So our scripture for this evening, just one verse, Proverbs 17:17 in the NIV. And I'm going to read it. It says, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. So I just thought that was appropriate as we're talking about socialization and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do a quick icebreaker just to go ahead and get everyone going. They do not know what the icebreaker is. So ladies, if you were on a talk show, what song would they play to introduce you?
Oh my God. Okay, it's probably I'm Every Woman. I don't know. That sounds a little bit like it. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm
I'm
trying.
out there. I'm really out there. So yeah. And I wear multiple hats. So, and I try to do well in multiple spaces. So,
That's a tough one. Uh, I feel like it depends on what day they have me on the show. um, as cheesy as this may sound, "Run the World" by Beyonce.
Mm.
Mm.
all right.
Well, as fake hood as I am, I'm gonna have to go with Jeezy. Go get him.
I thought you were gonna say "Nuck if you buck."
Or that.
That's it.
I was kind of counting on that one. For me, I'm gonna be very, very saved, and I'm gonna say, no, I'm not. I don't know. The only song I was thinking of Eve, "Who's That Girl?" But I don't even listen to that. But that song came to my head, so we're gonna go with that one. So, all right, cool, lady. So that was supposed to be the easy question. As we get into this, so, oh, David said that he was curious which was. Yeah. Okay. So first, I want to go ahead and give some definitions because I think there's some misnomers on what the definitions of these social types are. So introvert, and these are not my definitions. This is Webster, a shy, reticent person. That's the definition of an introvert according to Webster. Extrovert is an outgoing, overtly expressive person. So those are the two common ones. When you take personality tests, you'll get one of those, but there's actually a couple more. Ambivert is a person whose personality has a balance of extrovert and introvert features. And then there's omnivert, people who experience extremes in introversion and extroversion. So those are the definitions, not mine, according to Webster. So we're not, we ain't doing it. We're not doing it. We ain't doing it. Okay, so the first question is what's your social? So everyone has already basically given their. So the cool thing is we have four people and all four of us have different social types. All four of us. And just to give a little background for those of you who don't know, Reverend Elaine is my mom, and then Bridget and Kia are sisters. So we got two different family lines. Plus, those are like my besties too. So, point being that we got family on here, but we all interact with each other. We all socialize, and we all have different social types. So, we did go into that, and actually, we've taken the test. I know, Mom, you said you did the Myers-Briggs personality
Yes.
test,
And I've done it several times. Had to do it going through ordination. They do the whole personality workup to see if you're fit to work with people and if you're fit to be a pastor. It's very detailed. But I did it again because it can change over time. You don't have to stay in one place. As you know, as you're on your life journey, you can go from being an introvert to an extrovert, or an extrovert to an introvert, and the other aspects of the personality as well. So I haven't always been an extrovert, but I'll leave it there for now.
Okay. We got to give a shout out to Marquita. Hey, Marquita.
Hey, sister.
Love you.
We do love you.
I love that picture. So, okay. So we've done that one. So we can actually go into the next question, which talks about, has your social always been the same? So the way we'll do this is anyone can answer, let's just let's keep the conversation going. So.
I don't think my social has always been the same, but I also can say that it's always not consistent because I am an omnivert. Like, depending on where I am and who I'm with, I can swing, the pendulum can swing either way. As early childhood, I was more of an introvert. And then as I got into like middle school, I found myself being more of an extrovert. Um, of course, because everybody wants friends, and I kind of talked my way. I tried to talk my way into people's hearts, and uh, that didn't really work well. So in high school, I think that's where my omnivertness was birthed, because I found myself being extroverted with people who were accepting of me, and introverted around people that I really didn't know.
Hmm. Interesting.
So I think my path was polar opposite. Um, in talking with Bridget about this earlier, she brought to my attention that when I was younger, I was always in everybody's face, speaking to everybody. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, hi, my name's Kia. I don't recall any of that. I feel like as I got older, I was doing that as a child because I wanted everybody to like me. I wanted friends. I wanted to be accepted. As I got older, I started to observe people more, and I feel like I started to retreat into myself a little bit. And I started to care less about people liking me, as harsh as that may sound. The less I cared about whether or not people liked me, the more introverted I became and the more observant of people I became. And I think it's because I started to really protect and preserve my energy instead of giving it to everybody all the time and hoping it stuck.
I think for my journey, I was more of an introvert, or had introvert tendencies as a young child. Was not always in people's faces, or not that I am now, but because of the nature of my path, I have grown to become that. But very shy. But I think it was the socialization part in my childhood. From learning dance at an early age and being involved in scouting, and then in community organizations, even in high school. And that socialization piece helped to craft my leadership skills, which propelled me into having more of that extrovert personality. And now, part of my profile said the caring teacher. Well, go figure. I'm an educator. I'm right. I've landed right where, my personality type says. Also counselor, mediator. And so those are the kind of things that I do, not so much for approval of others, but because of my care for others and trying to make, quote unquote, the world a better place. I'm a Jesus lover. So I want to see deliverance, and I want to see, I hate injustice. So those are the things that drive my personality at this point and keep me in people's faces, so to speak. And working with kids, you got to talk to them. You just got to talk to them. So,
And I think for me, I think Kia, I was kind of similar, but in the opposite way. Growing up, I was very shy. I was very shy, very timid. I wouldn't necessarily give you, I don't want to say I didn't have an opinion, but sometimes I don't think I knew that I had an opinion because I just wanted to keep it to myself. In school, I would not raise my hand. Even if I knew the answer, I was not raising my hand. If the teacher called on me, I'm like, how dare you call on me? I don't want to read it. I don't want to answer it. Even with family, very reserved, very shy, except for people, I was very close to and, more personal. Those relationships were different. And why I say something, Kia, some ways were the same is because I did care about people's opinions more than, and that's why I did not speak as much, because I'm like, if I answer a question in school and if I'm wrong, then they're going to think I'm stupid. Or if I say something, or I like that dress, and if I give my opinion, if someone's opinion was different, I'm like, okay, they're going to not like me because we have different opinions. But growing up, it actually had the opposite effect. The more quiet I was, I think the more people were like, I don't know about her. She might be kind of stuck up. Something might be really wrong with her, and I would get those comments even from family members who were like, why you don't talk? Why you don't speak? You don't do this. You're not a social. Well, that just wasn't me. But then the older I got, I said, well, I really am starting not to really care about what people say, because it's like, I'm darned if I do, darned if I don't. If I open my mouth and speak, you're mad. If I don't say anything, you're mad. So I might as well go ahead and say what I have to say. And then I try to stay in my bubble And then within ministry, my bubble got popped. I picked a career being a therapist. I'm like, well, you don't want to talk, and you know you're about to sit down and talk to people. So I just, learned how to adapt. Mm-hmm. I will say that's why I say I'm more of an ambivert, because I can have a balance. I don't like introducing myself to new people. I'm not going out of my way to say, hey, like, that's uncomfortable for me. My social battery does get drained. The more social interaction, even at the end of, I love being a therapist, but by the end of the day, I'm exhausted because I've interacted all day. So I think that's how now I've become more balanced. I almost feel like I don't have a choice. I can't, my social, even from a social standpoint, I can't allow that to be like the biggest thing for me, or else I won't be able to even work.
Can I jump in and say, as a mother, watching her grow up, I agree with everything that she says, but I saw in her that caring and that wisdom and that ability to connect with people. And she really had, in my opinion, a drive for justice and for fairness. And so I saw that in her. But like she said, she didn't always want to express it outwardly, but it was there. God had planted that seed in her, and it just took the right time and the right conditions for that Kairos moment for it to come out. But she's right where she needs to be. And I saw God's hand on her in ministry before she did, and she didn't want to acknowledge it, but that's okay, because everything is in God's time. So she's right. She's right where she needs to be, and the Lord's not finished with her yet.
Well, thanks, Mom. That was live on social media. My mom. My mama said, no, I'm just kidding. But I just think it's interesting. And I think like all the ladies have touched on, I know Kia said like in the beginning, she didn't realize she was extroverted. Her sister did, and like my mom saw some things in me. I didn't see it. So that's interesting. And that's why I think this is an interesting dynamic, because we've got the familial relationships here and people who've known us our whole lives. So since Bridget is the older sister. So
wow.
Well, I'm just saying, you have known Kia her whole life because you're her older sister. And my mom has clearly known me my whole life because she's my mom. All love. So anyways, so our socials have changed. We've evolved because we've grown, we've matured, we've changed, and different circumstances and situations that we've had have caused us to have to, in some ways, adapt. So I want to now ask this next question. What do you believe contributes to your social from your own personal experience?
People. To put it simply, people. Like I said, I think interacting with people and sometimes wanting to show what I felt were the best parts of me to people, and it not being accepted or not being loved, it led me to, again, kind of preserve that energy until I felt safe. Like, funny enough, with my friend group now, I remember the first time that I really felt accepted, and I sent everybody a text message, said, ha ha ha, I've infiltrated. So I finally feel like I'm a part of the group, and now you guys see me. Well, when people first meet me, I don't want to say they meet a representative, they meet the sheltered version of me, because people have not always been so careful with the softer, more open, vulnerable part of me. So when I become more comfortable with people, that extroversion or that drive to kind of retreat into myself starts to fall away a little bit. Whereas when I first meet you, it's like, I need to know that I can show you that before I give that to you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Same exact thing. Same exact thing. Like, I was too open with myself early on in life. Like, I remember having friends that I did not understand weren't my friends. And I feel like the way that I was, now I've kind of I shelter myself from being hurt or opening up to the possibility of somebody making me feel a certain type of way in the beginning. So I kind of, at first interaction, like, who are you? And I know many folks can attest. Like, I'm like, nope, you new to my circle. I'm not okay with you yet because it's too much can happen. Like, I don't, I need to see that you are who you are.
Yeah.
And then once you'll see who I am, once I let you, once I let you in, you'll see like I've become completely introverted when I first meet people. Like, okay, now you're okay. Then they like, okay, well, who is this person? Like, oh my goodness, she came out of her shell. Well, no, baby, I was out my shell before. It was you that had to crack it. Like, I I'm just not. I've been hurt too much.
Yeah.
I've been hurt too much. And before I open myself up for somebody to allow somebody else to do something, I will close off completely and then I will open up instead of doing it the other way around. Like, you're not gonna get all of me at first. That's dead and gone. Um,
Mm.
because of past folks. Even family.
Wow.
Ooh, even family.
Mhm.
Cause I've been I love y'all family. But I've been I've been completely shy and reserved to some of my family and as a child, but then as an adult, I think some of my family have taken for granted the fact that um I'm an adult and I still have a voice, even though I may have been quiet as a young adult.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean that I don't have a voice. And I think sometimes family have the distant thought that they can talk to you any kind of way, and just because you shy, they don't think you're gonna say nothing, and then they meet they meet the real you, like, oh, so you thought you wasn't gonna get that smoke, you getting all of it today, and then it becomes like she was being funny. No, I was being who I am. You just didn't take time to get to know me.
Wow. Wow.
My favorite phrases is beware the quiet ones.
Mm.
Mm.
Just because I don't say it doesn't mean I don't observe it and doesn't mean I'm not trying to figure out how to move now that I've seen it.
That part.
Wow. I guess for me, it's a little different. I'm in a different point in my journey. I'm very transparent. I am who I am. I have been burned. I've been hurt, and recently I've been really hurt. Yet, I still put myself out there. I'm very passionate about everything I get involved in. You know, again, I'm doing it from that caring perspective, that compassionate perspective, trying to make the world better, quote unquote. And so I'm very, very passionate in everything that I'm involved in. And that does belie some vulnerability, because when you do put yourself out there, you know, you can be hurt. Nonetheless, I continue to do it. Now, I learned some lessons along the way. I'm not going to be a doormat, and I'm not going to allow you to abuse me as an individual, but it doesn't change my passion and who I am in terms of an agent of God trying to affect change and bring light into the dark spots of this earth. And that's kind of, you know, where I'm at right now. And I'm trying to, how do you say, leave the world better, you know, than when I came in. I'm thinking about, you know, eternity. I'm thinking about what's going to, you know, what is my legacy? So that's very, very important for me. And so I'm going to be who I am. And either you have to like it or don't like it. I don't really, you know, that doesn't affect me being who I am if you don't like me. But I am who God has made me to be. And I'm unashamed and, you know, confident in just being Elaine, flawed, yet God's child.
Absolutely. And I think mine's a kind of a combination. I think family sometimes is, no offense, I love my family too, but sometimes family can be worse than like friends, coworkers, people, you know, outside of our circles, because we would kind of sometimes expect family to be more supportive, more loving by nature, just because we're family. But a lot of times it's the opposite, and that you get more judgment from family. So I think for me, that's kind of my experience as well. But I think and I had to be extremely hurt by so-called family, quote, because I don't, that's not family, familial, but had to be very hurt before I'm like, you know what? I really have to stop caring about what people think about me. As I became more comfortable with who Ntatu was, again, flawed and all. And then when I looked in the mirror and I'm like, God loves me. So if you don't, and God knows everything about me, and you don't, and he still loves me, then why do I care if you do or not? So as I became more comfortable in who I was and learning about, and I'm still learning, I'm 39 years old. Oh, I can't believe I said that. 39 years old. As I'm learning more things about myself, I'm like, well, you know what? I mean, we're gonna walk this thing out, and people gonna have to just understand, deal with it, don't deal with it, call me, delete my number, whatever you want to do. I mean, that's fine. I'm not out here to hurt nobody. I love people. I love God's people. I really do. I have to say I love God's people. But sometimes, you just have to make a decision to say, you know what, I'm gonna live my life God's way, not my way, God's way. And you don't have to like that. I'm not gonna dim my light because it's too bright for you. What they say, close the sunglasses or look the other way. I know I'm not doing that. We're not
all
doing
of that. Plus something that was said in service a couple weeks ago. I believe Bishop said something about being an acquired taste.
Oh, yes.
Like, let me tell you, I'm 40 something. And
no, she really don't know how old she is. That's what.
And it wasn't until 40 something 2 weeks ago that I realized that I had to realize that. Like, y'all know because y'all in my circle, but I have a hard time when people don't understand me. Like, I have a hard time, like, I'm a relatable person. I'm a loving person. I will do everything in my power for anybody who needs anything. So when somebody doesn't get me, I'm like, what? How come you don't like me? What would make you not like me? What do you mean? And it wasn't until he said that I was like, I'm an acquired taste. I'm an acquired taste. I don't even care no more.
Exactly.
And it's funny because yes, we are sisters, but meeting the two of us, you would swear that the personality that she has is mine and vice versa, because I've known almost my whole life I'm not for everybody. I'm a strange bird. I own it. Either you're in my flock or you're not. Like, it is what it is. But I also don't want people to think that being an introvert is always just a response to how other people have treated you. Sometimes that's just how you are naturally. Like for me, part of being an introvert by definition, because yes, I looked this up a lot. Part of being an introvert is where you get your energy. Right. I get my energy from within. Like if I'm my social battery, oh my gosh, it's real. Like there are days today, case in point, where peopling, as in interacting with people, takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of me, to the point where I will literally tell my family, for my sanity and your safety, I need to be by myself for a little bit. And it's not anything against anybody else. It's to make sure that I'm recharging. Okay, Amber. Making sure that
Hi, Amber.
making sure that I'm recharging so that you do get the best version of me the next time we're interacting, so that you don't get the drained and dragging version of Kia. Let me have a second and I'll come back better than before.
I want to thank you, Kia, for saying that, because it's not about one being better or the other. It's where you get your energy from. And even as an extrovert, and I love being with people, and I didn't always like that, but I do. I love being with my students. I love, whether they're children or adults, I love being with the church, even when you deal with some of the stuff that the church does. But I still need to retract and get back to being with just me and God and just having our time, because that does recharge me. It recharges my battery. So yes, I need, I love people, but I also am learning in my journey to embrace solitude more and to really enjoy that time that I have with just being with myself. I'm a recent widow, so I'm living with myself and I'm not living alone. I live with me and the Lord. And guess what? I'm okay. I'm good just where I'm at. And I like being in my house. My granddaughters, come on, Ntatu, they always say, Grandma, you lonely? Don't you want to come over? And I said, I can come and visit and you can come and visit, but I'm okay. And I really don't want them to worry that I'm not okay because I am with myself. In fact, I want my grandchildren to know that it's okay and it's healthy to be with yourself, because you need to like who you are. You need to feel good about who you are and in your own space. So I just wanted to piggyback off of that, because there's nothing wrong with getting your energy with you. That's a good thing.
It's a great thing. Yeah, since we went on to that next question, I just went ahead and put that up there.
I don't know if I can describe my social battery. I don't.
I can.
Describe it, because I don't get it.
Well, when you in the right group of people at the right time, that's you. But you could be really tired still, and you still like half sleep, having fun. Like you just that's you. But
like
right, because you'll just be like the livest person in the room. That's Bridget. That's you.
I've seen that. I've seen that a little bit.
And sometimes I think that does recharge you, because I think depending on, like, if you've had a rough day, something didn't happen, like you actually come to us. I mean, you just do. Like we all get together and we do stuff, like particularly like after church and stuff like that. Like even today, went out to lunch. Like when you are having a day, I think you recharge by being around people who are going to pour into you specifically, not just people.
That's true.
But people who going to love on you.
Yep. That's true.
I could see that. I mean, and we've been friends for almost 12 years, so I could say that.
Woo!
Oh, Marquita,
didn't nobody ask you?
Well, David said with the crew, we all on 10. Well, true. Well, if we on 10, Bridget on 12.
Y'all ain't gonna do me like that. Okay. But to be fair, because I honest to God was like, I don't know how to answer that question, but that is all I can hear. I can see that. I received that.
That's just an observation, but yeah, me, I need time. I need a moment. I just don't get it. Oh, Marquita says 16.
We on live, Marquita.
Well, yeah, but it's true. We love you though. Yeah, but see, Omnivert, you experience extremes in introversion or extremes in extroversion.
Yeah,
it does fit you. And for me,
certain places take me to my introverted state.
Yeah, absolutely, which is reasonable. But see, there's both. It's both. Yeah. So I think for me, it depends too. But honestly, I really, oh my goodness gracious. I'm done. Y'all ain't laughing. I'm not putting y'all no more. David and Lamar, y'all. They think because they've been on here twice, they can just say whatever they want to say. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I love y'all. But I don't know. I love being around my circle. I love people. I really do love people. But I'm very selective on who I allow in my circle. So like if I'm having a rough day or if I'm struggling with something, I like to talk to my mom or I like to talk to my friends. And by friends, those are few. Those are few. or my husband too, but we live together. So it helps me sometimes if I'm feeling depleted, overwhelmed, it helps me. But sometimes I just need a moment with me and God. Like sometimes, and I just don't get that enough. I don't get that enough because I feel like I'm always being needed, which is
Mm-hmm.
good and bad because sometimes you want to not be needed because you need some time. And I'm doing better with taking the time that I need. But I think sometimes to recharge, I really just need to be by myself for a second.
Can I just jump in and say, yeah, that one of the weaknesses of my personality profile is the lack of self-care. So I would say that in the past 5 years in earnest, but I have been more intentional about self-care and unapologetically so that I need to allow God to pour into me and Elaine has to pour into me. I used to be at a place in my journey where I was so concerned, with people calling me selfish or whatever, that I neglected myself even. And of course that can cause all kinds of other health issues, not just mental health, but physical health issues when you're constantly being for others and you don't take care of you. So now I can go to the spa, or I take those family vacations and I take my solitude time. And yeah, I do get charged by being around my family. I love my family and I love being with them, and then also being with myself. So I know the importance of that self-care and pouring back into yourself. That is so important. And I don't apologize to anybody for that.
I think I'm the opposite. Like I've gotten so comfortable with self-care that I forget sometimes that I can be recharged by my friends and by my family, to the point where I literally have to have family pull me out of the house. Like, you need to go. You need to come do something. Get out. And I'm like, no, I just want to sit in the corner of my couch. Leave me alone. I'm fine. But no, they're like, no, you got to get up, because there is something to that community too. Even when I want to retreat into myself, and the people that know me best know that sometimes I can retreat too far into myself and it's not pretty. So they'll yank me back out and say, nope, you're coming out with us. And this circle is a big part of that group that'll do that for me. So that's kind of, I don't want to say weakness, but area of opportunity for being an introvert. Like, yeah, you get your energy from within, but don't discount the love and energy that you get from the people that care about you and really know you best.
Amen.
That's a good one.
I don't think I know my battery is depleted until I don't think I know that I'm not doing self-care until my battery is depleted. Because I get to a space where I'm like, don't talk to me, don't touch me, get out of my space. I developed this whole different demeanor. Like, even if you're around me, I don't like, even if I love to be around you all the time, I don't want you around. Let me be. Like, and I need to get it to a state where I can do self-care so that it's not so drastic and off-putting. But that's a part of that pendulum swing. Like, I can be extreme. My friends are there for me. I can go have those conversations. But sometimes when I get into that introverted state, it be so far down the hole. I be like, listen, and I love my village because y'all can tell. Y'all are quick to be like, hey, what's up? You okay? I ain't heard from you in a while, or something, whatever, to kind of say what Kia said, yank me right back, like, come up out of that. That's not for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I love this comment. Community is still necessary for introverts. Yes, it is.
Friend.
It is. It definitely is. And I think sometimes it's just tough because, especially like if we're thinking we need a moment of recharge by ourselves, but we really need a moment of recharge with someone else. Sometimes it's hard to fight that because you rather just stay in your house and just, you don't even put your phone on do not disturb. You just ignoring all calls, texts, all that kind of stuff. Like, I want to say this because it's true. I despise group text messages. They're overwhelming. And a lot of time it's because it requires I know I'm socializing with too many people at the same time. It's too much for me, so I don't respond to them unless I have to. I just wanted to say that, but that's coming from some. I'm just being honest, because for me, that's too much. I don't mind having a one-on-one conversation, but if we're all going to have a conversation via group text, I probably don't want to do that. So it's very challenging to say the least. But I think for me too, sometimes like if I'm dealing with something, sometimes people don't even know. Like I don't want to say anything. I don't want to talk about it because I'm gonna just get over it before I talk to you, which is not always good. So that's why I really, really, oops, wait a minute. Oh, Davis, I really, really, Erica, I really, really love this comment because I think that's very, very important. And as we're all saying, like a lot of times being around our family, friends, and my friends are my family. They are my family. But being around, that I just think it helps because we really do pour into each other because we really do love each other, like authentically love each other. So, we're going to call it out saying, hey, sis, I'm noticing something's off. What's going on? And when you're not trying to talk about it, like we're that community for each other. So that definitely is important. So, okay, I was trying to make sure I have all these comments. So I want to ask this question now. Have you ever wanted a different social? I'll just quickly say yes. I've only wanted to be extroverted when I felt like I had to be. When I'm forced into situations where it's like, go meet somebody you don't know. I wish that I was comfortable with that in those situations. Other than that, I'm cool.
I'm okay with not being that. And here's why. And I know that sounds so harsh. I'm okay with not being that one to walk up and like shake somebody's hand. Hey, I'm okay with that because what I've found is people, when I'm quietest, the people that take the time to reach in are the ones I end up being closest to because they took that step to say she's not the one that's going to be speaking to everybody, but she looks interesting. Let me go see what she's about. Mm-hmm. Are there times when I will reach out to people and, and speak to them? Sure. But there are many more times that there have been people that, I could be in the corner of a room somewhere, not saying a word, and somebody will come and sit next to me. Hey, how are you? I'm so-and-so. Some of those end up being my closest friends or the people that I talk to most because I feel like that's a genuine interest as opposed to I'm forcing that interaction. You were interested. You were looking. I was not out there putting myself out there to be seen, but you saw me. You wanted to find out what there was about me that caught your attention. And now we're having that interaction. And also, I feel like who I am speaks for itself. Like when you deal with me, I am who I say I am. So I don't have to tell you who I am.
That part.
I guess for me, it's an evolution. It's a journey. So I am who I am, and I'm just very comfortable with people now. I'm very comfortable with being in different social contexts. Maybe part of it is, again, social organization, church, teaching, every sphere of life that I pretty much am involved in is with people. My whole work, everything is interaction with people. And part of my personality profile said I'm not good at doing the lone kind of tasks. I'm a team builder, and so I'm always reaching out to people. If I'm at a social event, I'm going to speak. Now that doesn't say that these people are in my close inner circle, that they're becoming my besties. It just means that I can interact with different kind of people. I used to not be able to advocate for my own rights, and I'm a big advocate of customer service. Oh, I used to get walked on a lot. And people sometimes mistake you as being weak based on gender discrimination and other things. And life has taught me that I have to speak up. And that's that justice thing, you know. So yeah, you're going to do good service. Yes, I'm going to ask you questions about how you're taking care of my car. I'm going to talk to people if I have a problem with a policy or whatever. I used to be afraid to do all of that kind of stuff. You know, I can't handle that. Now I can. I can talk to people and I can say, look, let me speak to your supervisor if you can't help me. But those are learned behaviors over a long period of time. I have not always been able to do that. But the extrovert in me compels me to go forth and interact with people. They're not necessarily my friends, but to take care of business, you better believe it. I'm right in there.
So, can I ask a question about that? Is it possible to do that and still be an introvert? Because I feel exactly the same way. My entire career at this point has been in some realm of customer service, and I have zero issue speaking to anybody about something that needs to be made right. If something is injustice, it grinds my gears. I can't deal with it. So if something's not right, it's not being done right, of course, in a respectful way, I have no problem speaking to it and saying, hey, we need to get this right, whatever we need to do. If it means we need to escalate, like, I can have those conversations, but ultimately I'm still at my core, I am an introvert. But those conversations are still possible. I don't like the definition of introvert that we started with, because there's nothing, I don't know that I would define myself as shy. I don't know that I would define myself as reticent. I'm just observant. I observe everything before I act and before I speak. So I can have those conversations, but the way that I carry myself typically, yes, I am a very introverted person, but if I need to speak up, I'm going to speak up.
Well said, Kia. And in fact, there's no contradiction. And I think that's what Dr. Ntatu started with. The premise is that although we have different, personality types, traits, whatever, we still make up that social milieu that can change the world. I mean, we're still who we are, and we affect this world in a positive way. And we don't all have to do it exactly the same way or from the same place. So, yeah, I would agree with you and also argue. Again, I go back to that definition you gave about where you get your energy from versus being shy. I agree.
There's a big difference. It's not necessarily just because you're introverted doesn't necessarily mean you're shy.
Right.
At all. At all.
You quiet in that corner over there, sister.
I mean, y'all speak so eloquently. I don't know that I have words. I mean, the answer to the question for me is I'm both. So I don't think I could get different. No, I mean, I have there been times where I've been extroverted and wish I would have stayed a little more introverted. Absolutely. I think there have been times where I've been extroverted and people have made me feel like I talk too much, or what I've said was invaluable, or maybe you shouldn't have said that, and you always got something to say, or you always too happy, or a lot of stuff. And now when I swing the pendulum over to the introvert side, it's like, are you depressed? What's wrong with you? You're the saddest person I ever known. What's going on with you? Like, I ain't ask you for one anyway. Second of all, like, can I just be me? Like, I'm not going to be happy 100% of the time, and I'm not going to be sad 100% of the time. So that means I'm not going to talk to you and be like, hey, girl, hey, all the time. And then I'm not going to be Eeyore all the time either. I'm somewhere in the middle. So.
Yeah. I think what's key, Bridget, is for us just to know who we are and to validate ourselves, and to also understand that we're on a journey, that we're not some stagnant creature that is in a box and can only be one way, that we can present in different contexts in different ways as we move along life. And as life will teach us, we're going to learn some lessons that are going to shape us into being who we need to be
Right.
in a certain context. And we should be accepting. And I think the comment was made about who we are. We are who we are.
Yeah.
And we're fearfully what? And wonderfully made.
Mhm.
So, and that takes strength and courage to, accept oneself. And I know for me, it's been a journey. There have been times in my life when I didn't accept who I was and was more concerned about what other people think. Similar to Ntatu, actually. I went through that, but God brought me out of that. And now I'm his child and I know who I am, flawed in all, but I am his, and I'm good enough for God and I'm good enough for me. Amen.
Amen.
And
To that.
in Bible study this week, it was all about the danger of comparison.
Mm,
And the first thing I could think about was God saw fit for there to be a me. Why would I want to be somebody else?
Amen.
Apparently the world needed me. I agree. But apparently the world needed me. So I'm here. How can I deprive the world of that if he put me here?
Not to mention, you couldn't be me on my worst day.
Hello?
Okay, sorry.
Even if you tried, you couldn't.
I'm sorry.
I love the banter. So, yes. Yes. I don't even know what I was about to say now, but yeah, we're just gonna do a few more questions. This one, we've kind of touched on this somewhat a little bit in some of like our past experiences, but are people's social expectations of you different than what you are able to give at times? Yeah. Yeah.
That's definitely a question.
A lot.
Yes. So there's a meme that I ran across years ago that says everybody expects, or everybody talks to introverts as though they need to come out of their shell, but nobody talks to extroverts about chilling out and being calm sometimes. Like, why do I have to come to where you are instead of us being able to meet in the middle somewhere? Like, I am who I am. Why is that not okay?
And can I just add again, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you because you like to be in your shell. It doesn't mean that you're mean. It doesn't mean that you are antisocial, which really that's not even what that means. It's non-sociable. It doesn't mean you're non-sociable. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that sometimes you just feel more comfortable in that shell. That sometimes that's just where you are, and that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you or you don't like people. They must not like people. No, but I don't like when you say stuff like that either. I don't like feeling judged just because I don't socialize the way you want me to. I should say that. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's good. All I thought about was, no lie, like I thought about the pressures that I put on my sister when she was younger. Well, not younger, because younger when she was like a teenager. I always wanted her to do stuff. I always.
He does.
He does love his man cave.
I always wanted her to do stuff like. Just so you know, that's my
Only
brother.
to you. Only to you.
Oh goodness.
Sorry.
That's my brother. Hey, girl.
Love you too, bro.
I always wanted her to do like, for people who don't know, my sister has a phenomenal voice. Phenomenal. She'll tell you she doesn't, but I promise you she does. And I could not for the life of me understand why she never wanted to sing at church, why she never wanted to sing in talent shows or whatever. Like, for me, it was just a no-brainer. Like, you have talent. Why don't you sing? Like, why aren't you singing? And she would always be like, no, I don't want to. Like, I just don't. And now I understand why, but I don't like, and I'm only bringing this up because I think until these conversations are had, or until somebody is made aware of how they how they social and how somebody else may social different. They don't understand how they're trying to push somebody to act completely opposite of what they're used to. And so I'm sorry, sister.
Thanks for putting
But
me
you
on.
still should sing at church. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you sign that paper? Don't worry,
I
we'll put
sure
your name
did
there.
not. I-
We'll put your
Oh,
name
Or you,
wow.
or you won't. I can deactivate an email address real quick.
Wow.
I'm not dealing with her. Anyway, but yes, to answer your question, yes. People have a bunch of expectations of how I'm supposed to social. Everybody know I love my church. I do. And I think sometimes my introvertedness comes out there the most. Because I that's when I am in my observant state. That is when I am in my receiving state. Like I came here for a reason. So sometimes my mind is blocked off to being interactive because I came here to get something. And I think there are people who expect me to be on, like, girl, I hear you. Al, you be loud in the parking lot and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, the parking lot ain't got nothing for me. But God got something for me in here. This is what I came in here for a reason. And so
Wow.
sometimes I be pushed to another state inside those walls because I'm like, stop
Mm,
telling me I'm not supposed to be this person, or stop telling me that I need to be the same person here that I am there, when both of these
mm.
two things are totally different to me. Like I am introverted when I'm in that space because that's what I need to be. That's where my source comes from.
name.
Amen. Can I
So
just say it's kind of
leave me
opposite? Okay, go ahead, finish. I'm
no,
sorry.
go ahead. No, I was just saying, so leave me, so stop saying that to people to make them feel like, they're showing somebody different when it's like, no, they you can't do that. You They're trying to get something from that space. You don't know what space people are in. That's what I'm trying to
Right.
say.
Amen. Sister Bridget, I've got the same problem, but from the opposite side. Because I am a minister and I'm always a worship leader, I'm always out in front. Um, it's hard for me sometimes to receive because I'm always giving, I'm always pouring into others. The Holy Spirit is pouring through me. And so, one of the things God is doing right now with me is Psalm 46:10, be still, be
Mm.
still. And that's one of the reasons I came to worship with you guys today, because I'm in a place in my life right now where I have got to be totally silent, and I have got to just allow God to show himself to me. And that's hard. It's hard for me in my personality type because I'm so, well, this has got to be done and this has got to be done. And do you know, just in the past few days when I've been going in, and the Tatu knows about this, I've actually had some time. It's, when you're constantly on and you're constantly doing, you had 2 broadcasts a week, you got a prayer line going, you teach this class, da 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 da. You're always preparing for the next thing and checking the box. And God said, shut it down, be still. And so as you are still, when you go into your worship edifice and you want to receive, that's what I'm doing right now with my whole life. I have shut everything down. And I'm just in a place of a posture of, okay, Lord, show me you. Show me what it is that I need to do. And that's hard. It's hard for my personality type, but I'm disciplined enough that I'm going to do it.
That just made me think you can't pour from an empty vessel.
Mm.
Like if you haven't been filled yourself, what are you giving? Are you giving scraps? Are you giving remnants? Or are you giving from your overflow?
Yeah.
I'd rather give from my overflow
Amen.
so that I'm giving you the best parts, the extra parts, as opposed to the little bits that I'm kind of scrapping between you and me. I'm saving the little parts for me and giving you, you know, the greater. That's fine. But if I don't have it to give, how can I give it to you?
Right. So important. And I think that's why it's good to know what your social is. I know we're calling it social, what it is, because if you know how you recharge, if you know, you're very self-aware in that, then you will can act accordingly. You know, when we're trying to just fit in and do what society says, or even in the context that we're in, if we're just trying to blend in and do what seems to be normal, whatever normal even means, or what everyone else is doing, oftentimes we're missing ourselves. Like we're not really focusing on the things that we need to focus on. We're not able to look inward. So taking that time to just, sometimes we just need to be still. That's extrovert or whatever. It does. I don't even think it matters. Like just to have a moment when it's literally just you and God, and you're letting God speak and you're not saying anything, and just letting God pour into you. So then we have that overflow, because you can't get that. Oh, you ain't overflowing yourself. It's got to be coming from God. God is the source. So how are we getting that if we're just all over here? This, that, no, we need to be able to take those moments in those quiet spaces.
But you know, Dr. North, it's also for me, it's about knowing that what I'm doing is what God wants me to do. Because any of us, I don't care, introvert, extrovert, don't matter. We can all be busy with doing things, but it's about having that perspective that, you know, the plans that I'm making and the direction that I'm going into and what I'm committing my hand to is what God wants me to do. And that takes time to just listen, you know, and that's my own personal journey right now. That's where I'm at.
Absolutely. I just want to do, because I know time is getting long. I just want to ask, this has been awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You all are super dope, super dope. I want to say that. Anyway, so that's this last question. What's your favorite thing about your social?
The mystery. It's always fun for me for people to prove people wrong. Like if you tell me I can't, I can. If you tell me I won't, I will. So I want it kind of works towards that for you to look at me and think, oh, she's quiet. Oh, I can get over. Oh, I can use her as a doormat. Oh, she's not. Okay, you can think that if you want to. I would urge you probably not to test that theory, but if you'd like to. But I like observing people so I know how to move instead of people thinking that they've got me figured out. No, you can only figure me out when you take the time to figure me out, not just because you've encountered me once. So yeah, the mystery.
So I just want to interject. So that means your song would be Knuck If You Buck, not Rick.
I mean,
It'd be your question.
If we being for real, yes.
What I just heard. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
again, I'll just say I would urge you not to test certain theories, but if you so choose, we can explore them fully.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That was the equivalent of mess around and found out to me.
in good ways and bad ways. Like if you take the time to dig, you'll probably find something that you actually, and this is not me tooting my own horn or bragging, you'll probably find something that you love about me. Yeah. But if you think that you've got me figured out or pegged as soon as you meet me, you're probably dead wrong. And you'll if you want to stand on that, then it probably won't end well. So, I mean, just, yeah.
Look at you. Okay.
I mean, that's one way of putting it. Like, okay, I'm done.
Oh,
love you too.
What do I like about my social? I think what I like about in my extrovert side is that I find it a lot easier for me to navigate a lot of different conversations. Like a lot of different people, a lot of different conversations. I don't I don't have a hard time breaking into new territory because you're gonna have to talk me to death. Like you're gonna have to I can talk with the best of them and y'all know it. So that's what I like about my extroverted side. What I like about my introverted side is kind of the opposite of Kia. People know when not to mess with me. Because when I retreat, it's like, all right, no mas.
It's like pulling an arrow back when you retreat.
Yeah. Okay. I know time is tight, but I don't know. I think for me, being open-minded, supportive, and encouraging, team building, working with people. I don't have to agree, but I seek to learn from everybody. Um, those are the kind of things that are my strength, and I really appreciate in my personality type. I'm learning and have learned to say no, and again to have that balance where you make sure you deal with self-care. That has been an area of challenge, but I've gotten a lot better at it.
And I think for me, I think again it's that balance as well, but me being able to be more comfortable in situations that I maybe wasn't before. And not just from the perspective of again feeling like I have to blend in or I have to do what's expected, but just knowing that I internally feel more comfortable when I'm in situations. I meet new people all the time by profession. Um, and just again being more confident in who I am and who God has made me to be. And it's like me, love me, hate me, or whatever in between. I'm comfortable, not confident, not arrogant. So I'm okay with that. And I'm actually good with that because now I'm like, okay, I can still have socialization. I can be even in big groups, which is draining, but I can do it. But then again, I know I can come home and I can be in my car. I love being in the car because me and God have some really good conversations in my car. And I just, it does great things for me. So I like to be able to have that balance. Sometimes I really just, I was thinking I was really just flat out an introvert, but noticing the changes in my life over the course of the last several years, I appreciate the balance. I can say that I appreciate that there's some balance there. So it makes me more comfortable. I'll say that. So, but as a wrapping up, ladies, y'all are great. But any last comments, anything you all wanted to say before we get ready to end this conversation that's been awesome?
We
I'm
need
thankful for the conversation. Yeah, I'm thankful for this today and thankful to be here with my sisters. And, I didn't know what the outcome was going to be when you first invited me, but I think for Mental Health Month, especially, this is an excellent topic and it's something that needs to be talked about because it's about people and it's about valuing people. And that's where I'm at. So this is great. And thank you for having me today.
So thank you for being here.
I guess my last comment will be I am also grateful and honored that you chose me to be on this panel today. Had a great time in this conversation. But why I think it's important is I think a lot of people don't know how to interact with people. And they make assumptions based off of who they meet first. And these type of conversations help open people's mind to what they may be missing out on if they decide to just judge people off of a one-time interaction. So somebody who might not be as extroverted or introverted, well, somebody who might not be as extroverted, um, doesn't mean that they're shy. They're not the one they're that's going to start the conversation. You might have to just have another conversation with them. So I think this was an awesome open. I know we do this for work, to kind of just open up to how we can um, work with our peers, like understand their thought processes while we're trying to have conversations. So I think as we're having these conversations in the greater world, I think it helps open up that path for everybody. So
Well said.
thank you.
Absolutely.
So my sister took all my words. um, Again, I just echo thank you for having me be a part of this. I am not a talker, but I'm glad that I got to be a part of this because, like Bridget said, it just kind of opens pathways when you take the time to listen and try to understand others. Like, I feel like that could help a multitude of issues that we're dealing with right now is being able to hear, truly hear, and understand your fellow man. Like, everybody does not speak, everybody does not think, everybody does not operate the way that you do, and that's okay. So how do we navigate that? So I feel like this was a great way of opening that conversation, and I hope the conversation continues even beyond tonight. But thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you all. And that's the point is for us to be able to have these conversations to look and say, we're not all the same. God didn't create us to all be the same. That's not there's no cookie cutter version of a person. It just doesn't exist. So yes, if we could take the time to just understand rather than judge or just assume, make assumptions about people's character or even their personality. Some of us quiet people might have some of the most interesting conversations with us if you actually try to have a conversation with us, like you said, or we might not initiate it, but it could be a great conversation. We're not always, it's not always standoffish. Sometimes it's just, hey, I'm just kind of cool right here. But if you want me to come out, hey, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that. So I really, really thank all three of you for being here. I think this was awesome. Awesome. All different experiences, but then a lot of similarities as well. So again, I'm just thankful for each and every one of you. And I just thank you all for being on this evening. So as we're wrapping up our next episode of Hashtag from a Christian, Hashtag from a Therapist with Dr. Ntatu, episode 13 will actually be the second Sunday in June, be June 11th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's because the first Sunday is my anniversary. So we will not be my husband will be celebrating 12 years of marriage. So I ain't gonna be here that day. We're gonna push it back an extra week. And we'll have some more interesting things coming along. So mark your calendars so that you can join us on that day. I do want to just put this up there. This was really good. I think it's important to know each other's social and personality types. It really helps in knowing one another and knowing how to serve one another. Exactly. Because if we know it, then we know how to serve. That's a critical word there.
Yes, friend.
Yes, that was really good. So I just want to share, we do have a new schedule for this month. We have our mental health moments on Mondays at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that means tomorrow. So please plan to join us at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow for our mental health moment. Come get him. Somebody. Get that man. So yes. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the comments. The conversation has been awesome. The feedback is amazing. So we definitely appreciate each and every one of you as well. Definitely contributing to this time we've spent together. So our tag for Purpose Journey Counseling, every time we're together, I want to encourage you all to be loving, to be kind, be compassionate, and be intentional towards others as well as yourselves, in particular when dealing with socials. Make sure that we're doing those things. I'm not doing this with you all. I'm not putting them else up there. So again, thank you all for joining us. Lord willing, we will see you tomorrow morning for our mental health moment live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a wonderful evening, a wonderful week, and blessings and love.
Bye-bye.